Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Isabel. I'm a physical therapist turned Pilates instructor. I'm also a content creator. I do a lot of content on wellness, healthy living, fitness. So if you like that, make sure to subscribe and follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Today marks my 6-month anniversary of being a full-time Pilates instructor. So I wanted to sit down and do a real 6-month check-in because when I was transitioning into full-time Pilates teaching, I was constantly looking for videos like this one from other women who also transitioned into full-time Pilates teachers or pivoted from other careers. So I feel like this video would be very helpful. I just want to give you guys my honest experience so far being a Pilates instructor full-time, what's working, what's been challenging for me, and whether or not I'd make this decision again if I could go back in time. Just to give you guys some context, I am a physical therapist by trade, so I went to PT school, got my doctorate. I worked for about 3 years in the field. I did a lot of travel therapy and I burned myself out, and so I was looking for something to do that was related but not necessarily in the traditional way, and I stumbled upon Pilates. I was visiting one of the local gyms here in DC. The rest is history. I teach at multiple studios currently, and I teach a mix of classes and privates, mostly privates at the moment, but that's going to change in the next few months. I mostly teach as a 1099 contractor, and I'm still really figuring out what balance actually feels like for me and what's sustainable in terms of hours and all the things. So next I want to touch on my schedule, just the realities of what Pilates instructor schedule can look like. I'm not saying everyone's schedule looks like mine, but this is just my personal experience so far. So my weekly schedule currently is I work Monday through Friday. I just recently got out of a Sunday schedule, which I'm really happy about because that was part of the reason I was getting burnt out, was I was working throughout the week and then on top of that Sundays, and I just really wanted to save Sundays for resets and relaxation and family time. So I got rid of Sundays, but I currently work Mondays for 5 hours in the evening. I work Tuesdays for 5 hours in the evening. Wednesdays right now, I teach 2 early morning classes at a different studio, 7 and 8 a.m. And then Thursdays and Fridays, I work morning to afternoon, 5 hours each day. So total right now is 22 hours consistently on my schedule unless I get a cancellation or anything like that. Within there, it's about 6 classes. Everything else are privates at the moment. I am starting a new job, a 3rd job, where I will be teaching only classes, and this is going to be at a very big box type of gym. So I'll be teaching very large classes. We're talking over 25 reformers in one space. So it's very out of my comfort zone, but that will be adding around 4 more classes to my schedule. So that'll be a total of about like 26-ish hours per week of teaching Pilates. I take Saturdays and Sundays off now, and I love it that way. I feel like a normal person because when my husband's working, I'm working. When he's off, I'm off. If I can be completely honest, teaching Pilates is physically and mentally draining, okay? Sometimes having gaps between your schedule can also be a bit frustrating because I'm a contractor. I do not get paid. I'm not salaried, so I do not get paid if I do not work. And so if I get a cancellation, unless it's a late cancel, then I'm not getting paid. So some of the time I am sitting around not getting paid because I know that there's a gap in my schedule. I recently changed my schedule so that I do not have any scheduled breaks. So that way I'm just working straight 5 hours when I'm at work, and if I don't have any cancellations, I don't get a break, unfortunately. So I get about 10 minutes between each client anyway, so I really don't need a scheduled break. But let's say I do get a cancellation that day, then I get a break. If not, then I'm fine. And to be honest with you, even when you're not teaching, you're thinking about your clients, you're thinking about your next class, you're planning your next class in your head, you're trying to memorize sequences. It's a constant thing, especially if you teach at more than one studio. I will say it can be mentally draining. A lot of the reformers that I teach on are all different, and so they all have different springs, different straps, different settings on the reformer. So you kind of have to stay organized in your brain with your clients, with your equipment, all of the things. So it can be a lot. One thing I don't think I fully grasped before going full time was how much managing my energy really matters. it's not just about how many hours you teach, it's about when those hours are, how it is that they're broken up throughout the week, and how much time you're spending outside of the actual teaching hours doing other things. Like, I personally document all my clients on Notion, and I keep like information on them so that I know kind of like what we did last time. I can stay on track and not get confused, especially teaching at 3 studios. It can be a lot to decipher, like, what did we do last time? I haven't seen this person in a while, so just really staying organized that way. I will say teaching Pilates can give you a lot of freedom in your schedule. I'm off at 2 p.m. some days. I get to go home, I get to go to the gym. I sometimes start at 2 p.m. I start at late evenings. I don't have to worry about having limited time off, but anytime you're not working, you're not getting paid. So I highly suggest that if you are thinking about going this route, just keeping that in mind. And I will also be honest, my husband works a full-time job. He is an engineer. He has a very stable career, and that's part of what allows me to have the schedule that I have. There's just things that I personally had to consider before making this jump, because I know not everyone is in the same position that I am to be able to do something like this. So just want to be honest about that as well, that I do have more support than the average person to be able to have such a flexible schedule, a schedule that isn't consistent or as reliable as a full-time job. Now, going on to pay and a little bit of transparency, no paid time off, no sick leave. There's an income variability aspect to it. Privates usually don't get paid as much versus classes, but you can get a little bit more if you can turn that private into a duet or a trio, things like that. More classes, more money per hour is what I've kind of come to the realization about. Obviously, there's the whole tax consideration too. Contractors, we're gonna get taxed like a lot more, but it's important to kind of have your ducks in a row when it comes to preparing for that. And so I have like a tax withholding account that I've just been like putting money aside so that when that time comes, I'm prepared and I don't have to fork over a bunch of money that I wasn't prepared to fork over. So just things to consider. But obviously there also are a lot of like write-offs. Since you're a 1099 contractor, you could technically be like your own business. I could probably make a different video on this just so I don't get too much in the weeds. Another thing about the financial piece is that you really have to be a consistent teacher, because you'll have clients that are expecting you to be there week to week. And if you're somebody that travels a lot or just likes to take time off, or I don't know, just isn't able to be a consistent, reliable teacher, clients will move on and find somebody else. And so money can kind of waver that way. If they can't rely on you, they might just go somewhere else and find a teacher that they can rely on. So being consistent is super important in the Pilates space. Moving on to like day-to-day life, this is where you can kind of be a little bit more customizable when it comes to how you want your life to look like as a Pilates instructor full-time. So for me, I decided that I wanted a couple days of working more like late afternoon, evening, and then I wanted a couple days of more like morning, early morning starts. I did this because some mornings I just want to spend the morning with my husband. He works from home, so I get to wake up, make breakfast, spend the morning with him, maybe hit a workout and then go to work. I don't have to rush out the door every single morning. I personally am a morning person. I love to have a slow morning, and so something that used to bother me when I was a full-time physical therapist was that I needed to be at work sometimes at 7 a.m. on the dot, and I would never enjoy a morning to myself, a slow morning, see the sunrise, until Saturday or Sunday hit. And so that was just, it was disheartening for me, to be honest, long term. Like I was like, I really want to like wake up and journal and like take a slow shower and read my book or something, like, I don't know, drink my coffee slow, not be like eating breakfast in the car like I used to do. Prepping for sessions for me has gotten significantly easier and faster. When I initially started teaching, I was writing out every single class, every single session, and then you just come to realize that your plan usually doesn't come to fruition. Like you walk in, you're like, I have a whole program set for like upper body, and we're just gonna like strengthen my client's back today. And she's like, yeah, I pulled my neck like sleeping last night, and so like I don't want to work on anything upper body, like can we just focus on lower body and core? And it's like, okay? You know, you just have to be adaptable. You have to be able to adjust those things on the fly, like on the spot. So planning and prepping sessions takes significantly less time when you've been doing this for a longer period of time. You just kind of get comfortable with the idea of, I'm gonna be prepared depending on what my client says when they walk through the door, sort of thing, if that makes sense. I personally still plan my classes, I write them out, and I keep my class plan with me during class. Do I reference it all the time? Not necessarily, but if I'm having like a foggy type of day, I might just need my class plan to keep me on track. Or if I have clients that have a lot going on. Some of my level 1 classes, there's a lot of clients that have chronic pain and just musculoskeletal issues going on, and so I like to keep notes of what they have and ways that I can modify during class. So those are important things to keep on hand, but for the most part now I don't spend that much time class planning or anything, or session planning at all. Now, as a Pilates teacher, you have to be a bit sociable. I'm not saying you have to be an extrovert, but you have to be able to like talk to people and relate to people and be a friendly face at least. If you're not a people person, this just might not totally be the career path for you. Can you get by? For sure. Will you be anxious? Yes. When you teach classes, it feels like you're performing. It feels like you're putting on a performance. You have to show up, you have to speak, you know, it's public speaking at the end of the day. So that's just something to think about. I would consider myself an ambivert, is that what it's called? When you're a little bit of both, introverted, extroverted. I can be extroverted, but at a certain point, I need my time. So just something to consider. I think that's why I probably wouldn't pass like 30 hours of teaching per week. I'd rather get like a side hustle at that point, which I feel like social media is a little bit like my side hustle. Yes, it's social, but it's like not face to face all day and talking specifically to people like face to face. So I kind of get that like work behind a desk, work behind a computer side of things that I enjoy, to kind of balance the face to face social aspect of Pilates all day. Now to go through a few pros and cons, what's been better than expected and what has been harder than expected. So better than expected, like I said, autonomy over my time, feeling aligned with my body. During my breaks, I get to practice, self-practice. I get to jump into classes for free. I'm in the space to be able to become better at my craft. So I love that, and I love to move my body. So what better way than to work in a space that promotes that? I've been able to build real relationships with my clients and other instructors, and that's been super rewarding for me. I feel like those are relationships that I'll take on with me for a long time. I've been feeling a lot more confident in my expertise and what it is that I can bring to the table, but that truly takes time. It takes a lot of time and practice to feel naturally confident. You have to fake it till you make it, because girl, me, even being a PT coming into the industry, I was not confident. Like, I can guarantee you that. I was self-doubting all over myself, and it's just the reality. You're going to have imposter syndrome if this is completely new to you. And so just be prepared for that. Know that it's normal and don't beat yourself up about it. I feel more connected to my work now than I have ever did. I loved physical therapy, don't get me wrong, but the environments that I was forced to work in to be able to be a physical therapist, I just did not find an environment that was conducive to how it is that I wanted to feel connected to my work, if that makes sense. Even on the hard days, it still feels rewarding. It feels light, it feels low pressure, low anxiety for me, and that's really what has surprised me the most about being a full-time teacher. What's been harder than expected is definitely income variability. Like, that part has been just something my husband and I have been working through. Luckily we have stability, like I said, to have bad months and have good months, but again, the variability can be challenging for sure. The physical exhaustion is a thing. Talking all day is exhausting, but you get used to it. It does take a lot of emotional energy as well. I work with a lot of post-rehab clients who have been having a lot going on. They're coming out of PT. They have chronic pain. They have things going on. They're not just coming in like, I want to have fun. I want to take a class like for funsies. A lot of people are coming in like, you know, I need help. I need real help. I need healing. And so it can be emotionally draining, but when you start to connect with your clients, it starts to not be as draining, and it starts to be like a check-in. It starts to be like a friend that you're kind of just chatting to for that hour, and so it gets easier. I've also had to unlearn the idea that being busy equals being successful, and that's been one of the harder things that I've had to like shift my mindset around, is that just because I'm not working those 40 hours a week doesn't mean that I'm not successful in what it is I'm doing, and more doors and more opportunities are always going to present themselves. And I do just feel like the space that Pilates has given me has allowed me to progress in other areas of my life, such as my creative ventures like social media and YouTube, just taking better care of myself and my mental health, my blood pressure, like just health things, like real health things that you don't realize are at a detriment because of your job, which when I used to work in like the ICU and like the acute care and sniffs and all these things, like my health was not good. Like my blood pressure used to be super high, and I just got my blood pressure checked and it was great. Like it's been going down, and I'm not one to have high blood pressure. Like I've never struggled with high blood pressure, but when I was working at certain hospitals, that's just what it did to me. Code blues and all the things can definitely create health problems over time. So, but I think just focusing on not trying to stay busy all the time and focusing on the work that you do is super important. Okay, now last but not least, would I do it again? Yes, 100% yes, I would choose this path again. I'm about to start like a dream job in like a dream facility that I just would never have imagined to be able to do, I guess. Like, and I'm just super excited, and I'm grateful for where Pilates is taking me. And so I personally feel like I'm growing and I'm becoming the woman that I've always wanted to be. So I would 100% do this again. And I think it's just making me a better person overall. So yes, I would choose this path again. I think if you've been considering doing full-time Pilates, you should try teaching a few classes per week with your full-time job. Get a feel for what teaching is like, fall in love with the process and what teaching is all about, and then slowly turn your schedule into full-time teaching. I would not rush full-time teaching. I would not jump full throttle into it. Highly recommend that, because you might teach and just feel like, I don't think this is for me. And I would hate for anyone to completely drop their job and go full-time in this and then end up hating it and falling out of love with Pilates altogether. Like, that's not the point. So definitely don't rush it. Also, I would recommend like to build a little bit of a savings before you go full-time. Like, just make sure you have a lump sum of money to help you on a rainy day, on one of the months that's maybe a little bit harder. The government shutdown really affected my schedule, actually, since I live in the DMV. A lot of my clients do work for the government, and so some of them just could not afford to see me twice a week anymore, or whatever they were coming to see me. Their schedules changed because of their financial means and their financial burden. So totally makes sense. Like, things happen and you have to prepare for that. So just make sure your finances are in a good place. Also, I would highly recommend to just think beyond teaching hours. That's kind of what I'm doing right now, is like trying to learn more about the Pilates industry as a whole and how it is that I can contribute on a larger scale. Maybe aside from like teaching hour to hour, class to class, like how can I reach more people and not trade so much time for money, and maybe expand in that way. So always keep that in mind, obviously in the back of your mind, so that there's a level of progression in your career when it comes to teaching Pilates. If you're someone who's thinking about teaching Pilates full time, I hope this video helped you in some way. I hope it gave you a clearer picture and the reality of what teaching Pilates is like, and I hope it didn't discourage you in any way from doing it, because it is super rewarding. It's such a fun career, and I know you'll love it if you decide to go that route. I just hope that this video helped you make a more grounded decision towards teaching Pilates. Please let me know if you want a follow-up video on any of the topics that I briefly covered, like burnout or pay, schedule, having multiple incomes. If you're a Pilates teacher currently, I would love to hear where you're at in your journey and what your experience has been so far teaching Pilates. I would absolutely love to chat with you in the comments, or please DM me on Instagram or TikTok at the Isabel Brown. I'd love to connect with you there. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one and weekly vlogs. I appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.